Hey! I think we're live. Thanks for the count in there, Foxy. That was great. People, please take my advice. Be sure and treat your people extra nice. 'Cause if it's real, they got your back till the end. And there ain't nothing so good to find or bad to lose as a friend. As a friend. Travelers, it may be a long way round before you find yourself homeward bound. But in your heart you can carry your family along, just as long as you remember where you got your song. Where you got your song. Welcome, family, friends, and friends-to-be. Thank you so much for tuning in to our little show. This steam-powered live stream is coming to you live from our living room here in Riverdale, Alberta. It's a little peninsular piece of paradise just minutes away from downtown Edmonton. I'm Scott Cook, and these beauties here are my cohort, my co-hosts, my co-conspirators, and my comrades, the Indoorables. Just slinking along there on the upright bass, putting every note in its place, putting me in my place. This is the love of my life, living the life of my love, the one and only Pamela May. And this young fella right here, he comes to us all the way from Melbourne, Australia via Hong Kong. He's our in-house fiddler, accountant, sourdough baker, and polyglot, the one and only Elliot Thomas. Thanks so much for tuning in. Though the air is wintry and the creeks all froze, you can be sure that underneath the water flows, and the birds are returning with southern songs, new tunes that we'll be learning before too long. Before too long. Thanks, Indoorables.
Hey, thank you.
Hoo-wee.
For getting this show
This
on
every
We're getting the show on the living room.
every time we do one of these, it feels like an adventure getting the ship off the ground. But wow. Hey, there's Iqbal Hassan. Watch Scott Cook and the Indoorables Holiday Variety Show live online. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to these people. Hey, there's real people. Hello, Patsy Amico. Hello, Sarah, from tuning in from New South Wales, Australia. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wow, beautiful. Good to see you, Robin. Good to see you, Daniel Bowling. Wow, amazing. So this month's show is a very different show. These two, Pamela and Elliot, these two have full-time jobs at the moment, and not only that, but they're also finishing school programs at the same time. So they've really been working incredibly hard, and I'm incredibly impressed by both of you.
Thank you.
He's winning?
Yeah.
Is he?
I don't know.
I mean,
He spends more hours at it anyway.
he spends a lot of time downstairs, but we don't know what he's doing, really. I mean, he might be studying.
Killing it.
Pounding my head against the wall.
Well, that's what we're hearing.
Yeah.
That's it. I thought you were learning to play the drums.
No.
Just my noggin.
So anyway, they didn't have a lot of time to learn a lot of new material, and we want to keep it fresh for you. you viewers, especially you loyal viewers who have been with us month after month. Thank you so much for sticking with us. So we thought this month we would do a little variety show and invite some friends from far and wide to join us and sing some of their songs and have little chats and that sort of thing.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, we got friends calling in from Hamilton and Toronto and right here in Riverdale and Candelo, New South Wales, and they're all on deck. I'm super excited to have them. If you're out there watching and you think this is going to be fun and you want to share it, just go down to the bottom of the video, click the share button, and send it out to your friends. We're going to play you one here. Before we go to our first guest, we're going to play you my favorite Christmas song ever. This one was written by Dar Williams. And it's about as ecumenical of a Christmas song as there is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Amber called her uncle, said we're up here for the holidays. Jane and I were having solstice, now we need a place to stay. And her Christ-loving uncle watched his wife hang Mary on a tree, watched his son hang candy canes, all made with red dye number 3. He told his niece, it's Christmas Eve, I know our life is not your style. She said, Christmas is like solstice, and we miss you, and it's been a while. So the Christians and the pagans sat together at the table, finding faith and common ground the best that they were able. And just before the meal was served, hands were held and prayers were said, sending hope for peace on earth to all their gods and goddesses. The food was great, the tree plugged in, the meal went off without a hitch, till Timmy turned to Amber and said, is it true that you're a witch? His mom jumped up and said, the pies are burning, as she hit the kitchen. But it was Jane who spoke and said, it's true, your cousin's not a Christian. But we love trees, we love the snow, the friends we have, this world we share. And you find magic in your God, and we find magic everywhere. So the Christians and the pagans sat together at the table, finding faith and common ground the best that they were able. Where does magic come from? I guess magic's in the learning, 'cause now when Christians sit with pagans, only pumpkin pies are burning. When Amber tried to do the dishes, her aunt said, really, no, don't bother. Amber's uncle saw how Amber looked like Tim and like her father. He thought about his brother, how they hadn't spoken in a year. He thought he'd call him up and say, it's Christmas and your daughter's here. He thought of fathers, sons and brothers, watched his own son tug his sleeve, saying, can I be a pagan? Dad said, we'll discuss it when they leave. So the Christians and the pagans sat together at the table, finding faith and common ground the best that they were able. Lighting trees in darkness, learning new ways from the old, making sense of history and drawing warmth out of the cold.
Nicely played, and so
Nice work, Indoorables. Thank you so much. Man. All right, Pamela, if you want a task,
Yes, I do.
you could
So bored for a
probably
millisecond there.
block or ban Iqbal Hassan.
Okay, I'm coming for you.
And this person with a Hindi or Sanskrit name, and they are. But there's Mardell Johnson.
Hey, sister.
She's not causing problems. Oh, she's saying hi to your mom. Your mom must be on too.
I love that there's a
Caitlin says hi, puppers. What puppers? Oh, Foxy or us? Terry says it's Foxy. Indeed, that's the puppers. That's our puppers. This is better than the Yule log, says Perry Stein in New Jersey. No, like Foxy's pre-roll. That's like that. Yeah, we beat out the Yule log on the holiday viewing list. That's great. You know, Perry, you wouldn't believe how many treats were involved in making that happen, that little 10-minute Yule log. That wasn't easy. That wasn't easy. Hey, Shez, you're stopped on the side of the road to join us. Okay. I'm just gonna, in my obligations as for your safety, I just want to make sure you're safe. As long as you're safely parked, Shez, that's all good. Hello from Aldinga Beach, South Australia. Thanks, Chris. I hope the CD has made it to you. I mailed it the other day. It should be there soon. I'm hoping so. Hey, Chris. Scott is wearing a Foxy hat. Thanks, buddy. Thank you. You too. Merry Christmas, Jenny. Merry Christmas. All right, we're going to go to our first guest. This is we've been using a thing called StreamYard for these shows, and this is part of the joy of it, that we can bring in guests. We've got our first guest right here. He's coming in from Toronto, Ontario, and Dave Newberry is a songwriter that I have known and admired for a long time. I first met him at the Arts Wells Festival in Wells, British Columbia. We were both part of the same songwriting class, and we hit it off. We hit it off with a lot of folks that weekend. There was a lot of great songwriters in that class for the week. Actually, we were there studying with David Francie and Craig Worth, and we run into each other on the road a lot since then. He was living in Vancouver, and we cross paths at festivals and that sort of thing. And in the last few years, he's moved to Toronto. He started curating a series called In Basements on Sundays, a weekly series at our friends Faye and Vic's place, Winona Beer Lodge on Bloor. Am I right?
You're right.
In Toronto, they do it in the basement, and every Sunday he has some musical guests, and it's great. It's just a great community building thing that he's done there. And during this isolation, he's been producing a series of recordings called In Basements in Isolation, and those have been coming out. Real exciting stuff. One thing, I guess, that I wanted to, the reason I was really especially excited to bring Dave on here is because he's been such an inspiration to us through the pandemic. He's been putting on all these shows, and he was one of the first ones that we tuned into, and Pamela immediately became a David Newberry fan as well. And we'd watch these shows, and he had some really, really thrilling, just different stuff. He'd have friends come in. He had his girlfriend Megan read her diary, her childhood diary, and with some pretty amazing cinematographic flourishes. And that was the first time that I saw anybody doing a live stream with multiple cameras, and I was like, "Whoa, Dave, next level, man." So you've been an inspiration to me, brother, and I'm so honored to have you on our show.
Oh man, it's such a pleasure to be here. I've been tuning into yours every month as well, and
I'm just going to turn you up a touch, Dave.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, So I've just been tuning into your shows all the time, and that's kept my heart warm. It's nice. It's nice to feel inside your bubble for a little bit. That's an odd thing to say, but but it feels nice. I don't know.
So you've been working through the pandemic, yeah?
Yeah. I've got this little studio / office space, and I also like my day job is just up the road at an office that's very big, or not very big. There's only 10 of us in there, but there's enough space that half of us can go in at a time. So we just sort of split. I'm working half at home and half in the office, and I don't have to get on any subways or anything to get there. So I've lucked out that way.
Tell us, what's your work?
I work at a community legal clinic, which is sort of a arm's length government-funded sort of organization, and there's a bunch of different ones that focus on different geographic areas or areas of law. But I work in one that works specifically. I work with people who get hurt at work and struggle through the compensation process. Partly one-on-one, me pretending to be a lawyer, and partly we do sort of like community building and consciousness raising and capacity building stuff, and just kind of try to organize or help injured workers organize other injured workers.
That's good work, brother.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you. I've been thinking about this a lot as my line of work has kind of ceased to exist, at least temporarily, except in forms like this. I've been thinking a lot about what it is that makes work meaningful work, and I just wonder how you feel about that. You know, with your current situation, how you felt about that before, as a singer-songwriter. I know for me, when I see people doing work like you're doing, like in the actual world, helping people in a direct and concrete way, it's really inspiring for me. And sometimes I feel like, what is all this? You know, I just travel around and sing songs and get to hang out on beaches and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And so I do wonder about what makes work meaningful, and I wonder what you think about all that.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're not just traveling around singing songs, you're traveling around singing particular types of songs. And I think in that sense, like, there's obviously my job now versus when I was touring all the time are very different, in the sense that, you know, there's definitely less traveling and you know, a pretty marked reduction in beach time. But it's really still about like communicating. And in the jobs that I've had after touring, I've actually, you know, gone and like written cover letters to be like, I know this sounds weird, like I'm in my 30s and I have no actual work experience, but like, hear me out. I've been a musician for a long time, and that makes me extraordinarily good at communicating with people. I guess not all musicians are extraordinarily good at communicating with people, but we have to meet all kinds of different people who may be ready to hear what we have to say, and they may not. And then the challenge that we face is to like bring them in and hear what it is we have to say. And like in our case, in our music, I think often we're saying something that is outside of ourselves and about the how the world fits itself together. But in a lot of ways, you know, I kind of still think of it in the same way.
That's really interesting. I forgot we were going to crack a beer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We were going to crack a near beer, I should say.
We were going to crack a non-elk. Yeah.
This has been a bit of an ongoing segment here, and this here is Libra. It's from PEI. I actually ordered it from PEI.
I've actually been to this Upstreet brewery.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's real. I loved it when I was there 2 summers ago. One summer before we stopped being able to go places.
So I want to let our viewers know that Dave is a writer of very literate and brilliant songs, but he's also kind of got this side hustle going for the last few years, and I figured it would be good to feature a little of that, particularly because some of our viewers have children in their lives, and
Yes.
So you want to tell us a bit about that, Dave?
I'm part of a bit of a family business. My sister is a musician. For years, my touring was just her and I. My brother is an artist, and one of the ways he expresses his art is through animating. And he is sort of the business savvy one of all of us. And he just suggested we kind of turn. We write kids songs together. That he calls it kid alt music. The idea is that there's like millions and millions of children's videos on the internet, and they're very poorly animated, and they are pretty crappy recordings that are super annoying to listen to, and they're extraordinarily popular, and that's a problem. And so we try to make kids music that sounds like music that their parents listen to, or would be familiar with, or would be less annoyed by. So we're using like there's a lot of like Jason Isbell songs about math or that kind of stuff. But
are there?
No, there is on Scratch Garden.
Why don't I show the people just a little something here?
Yeah. Play a little clip.
Yeah. Okay. Here, this is just a little bit of a song about going to the beach.
We are going to the beach. It is gonna be fun. A whole long
Can you hear that, Dave?
Sand, water,
Okay.
sun. Don't forget a sun hat.
Won't forget a sun hat.
Don't forget a snorkel.
I won't forget a snorkel.
Don't forget your sandals.
I won't forget my sandals.
Don't forget cookies.
I won't forget cookies.
Don't forget potato
I
salad.
won't forget potato salad.
Don't forget the oyster
I
sauce.
won't forget the oyster sauce.
Don't forget
I won't
enchiladas.
forget enchiladas.
Don't forget the enchiladas extra
I
spicy.
won't forget the enchiladas extra
Don't
spicy.
forget the first aid kit.
Won't forget the first aid kit.
Don't forget the umbrella.
I won't forget the umbrella.
Don't forget Kevin.
I won't forget Kevin.
Don't forget Kevin's medicine.
I won't forget Kevin's medicine.
Don't forget the radio.
That does end. Yeah, my brother has a really wacky sense of humor that really aligns with mine, and my sister's a kindergarten teacher, and so my brother comes up with some strange ideas, and my sister and I try to translate it into some sort of musical form. There, I think we were going for like a Talking Heads meets the Strokes kind of vibe, and then we can literally like road test it in like you and I might play our song on the road 10 or 12 times to see if people like it. My sister can play it to her kindergarten class and see if they giggle. So we've got a kind of a test audience there.
All right, I just want to play one more little clip here, and this. Oh man, this is you rap better in the other song, but I'm partial to this one.
Okay.
I know a weenie man, he owns a weenie stand. He sells most everything from hot dogs to buns. Someday I'll join his wife, I'll be his weenie wife. Hot dog, I love that weenie man.
Weenie on a bun. Pass the mustard and the relish too. Weenie on a bun. Pass the mustard and the ketchup too. Weenie on a bun. Every topping that you ever knew. Weenie on a bun. I wanna eat it with you.
Roast 'em, toast 'em, stick 'em on a bun. Roast 'em, toast 'em, stick 'em on a bun.
Dude, it's too good. I love it.
It's a blast as well because it's not like obviously like recordings when we're recording albums under our grown-up names and putting them out, like it's a very serious process and a very involved process, and this one's so fun. I was like, how do I get a record scratch sound? I had to buy like a little piece of MIDI gear and sample like Record Crackle and just do all of these kind of things that like is just never going to come up in our when we're making our songwriter records. And so it's just I've never like, let's make a David Newberry song sound like the Beach Boys. Go. But I do that stuff with this all the time, and it's a blast, and it's also like a more successful business operation than my grown-up music has ever been.
Yeah, I was gonna say I looked at, like, for example, like some of your biggest hits there. I'm gonna put up the website here for any parents. It's scratchgarden.com. That's where they can find the stuff, and of course on YouTube. But yeah, I was gonna say some of your biggest hits there on YouTube are like the Counting by 5 song, the Counting by 2 song, and like Itsy Bitsy Spider, for example, has 12 million views.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like curse either of our music careers, but I don't expect that to happen for either of us. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I think 1,000 views of a video of mine. I'm like 1,000 people. Like, imagine
Right.
they were all here. Like, it'd be crazy. So yeah, those numbers are. I don't get it. I don't know. I certainly. It's funny. It is. I mean, it is a business venture, and it produces income, which is different from this other business. But it at the beginning when it started blowing up, I was like, really, like I have poured my heart and soul and infinite amounts of resources into producing David Newberry records that are 50 times better than this, that I can't get anyone to listen to. But Itsy Bitsy Spider was an afternoon, start to finish, and a measurable percentage of the human beings on the planet have watched it and been like, this was good enough to get to the end.
Well, listen, why don't you give us a Dave Newberry song here before you go?
Yeah. Thanks so much, man. I love being here,
Buddy, thanks so much for coming on the show, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna back it up a little bit. This is just a brand new little folksy folk song. I was told one day where my people stay that the creek. Whoa, that's not where that chord goes. From the tops, I got the raps in my head. I was told one day where my people stay that the creek would one day be a river that would carry us away. But the grass just grew, and before I knew, 40 years were gone, and the Trickle Creek just trickled, never grew. We still dream of the coming of the water. Yeah, we still sing of that river in our songs. But in days like these, the odds just feel so long. I was sure back then, guess I was incorrect. I had promised my relations that our stations would be rising with the rain. It is dry here still, where my family tills, where sometimes we find laughter, but we're often just too tired for the thrill. Oh, we still dream of the coming of the water. Yeah, we still sing of that river in our songs. But in days like these, it's hard to feel so strong. The sun will rise, it'll hurt my eyes when it peeks between the needles as they're rising from the pines. They say it's life it gives, but what life is this? We are thirsty and the cure is simply hidden by the swollen from the thin. How we still dream of the coming of the water. We still sing of that river in our songs. But on nights like this, I fear we were just wrong.
Yeah. Woo!
Rusty, but it's a pandemic.
Here, put us back. Okay, there we are. Oh, thank you so much, Dave. Great song. I'm going to throw up the banner here, davidnewberrymusic.com. That's where people can find you. And a parting word, what do we think of the Libra?
I like it, man. It's like they call it an ale, but it's got a bit of a nutty thing to it that I don't think often comes in. It's a hard thing to reproduce when they take the booze out of it.
Yeah. I liked last month that I got this suggestion and the Sober Carpenter suggestion from Johnny Eaton last month. Both really good.
Yeah.
And neither of them will make you do things you regret, which is really wonderful. I mean, that's what I'm looking for in a beer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Especially right now, it's I think there's like less possibility to do things that you regret, but the stakes are just way higher.
Thanks so much,
All
buddy.
right, buddy. Love you so much.
I
look
love
forward
you
to the rest of
too,
the
pal.
show. Cheers.
All right. All right. Well, thank you. That was David Newberry, davidnewberrymusic.com. We got another segment coming up, which we premiered last time. Basically, I moved into Riverdale with Pamela at the beginning of February, and it was my first time living in a house in like 13 years. And it's wonderful. But the biggest change, like, of living in a place is like I actually have a neighborhood and I have neighbors. And this neighborhood is particularly special because it's full of some absolute legends. So I thought I would do a little Mr. Rogers style segment where we have a little chat with the neighbors. You may remember Jay the Grizzly Canadian from last time, but this time we're going to have a chat. Mr. Cooker's neighbor chatter with Rocky, the Riverdalian rabble rouser. Rocky, welcome to the show.
Oh, well, maybe I need a little bit of light here, hey?
Yeah, a little bit of light would be good.
I'll have my staff get on that.
So this is our neighbor.
You need more light.
I'm not hearing you, Scott. I wonder, are you hearing me?
Oh, hey, I muted myself. Sorry, Rocky. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah. I was saying this is our neighbor Rocky. You probably didn't want to hear me because I was going to toot your horn. I'm saying that you're a retired doctor and an environmental activist and a local legend and a wild crafter. I don't know if you remember making this thing.
Aw, well, isn't that, my goodness, isn't that commensurate with my talent?
A beautiful.
It's a scat bowl.
It's a scat bowl, isn't it?
Surely, a scat bowl.
Is it made of poo?
Why would I make something out of poop? Come on.
Well, I don't know. Our friend Cecilia Sharpley, who's the graphic artist featured in Tangle of Souls, she makes all kind of things out of poop.
Renewable resource.
It's a renewable resource.
Made out of bentonite clay from the River Valley. You know I'm a River Valley rabble raiser.
Yeah, you are for sure. How long have you lived in Riverdale, Rocky?
I've lived in Riverdale for 22 years.
Amazing.
Can you see
How
has
it changed over that time?
No, wait, you ignored my question.
What was your question?
I said, can you see what I'm reading?
Yeah, I can see it.
I wanted to ask you a few questions about it if I could.
Yeah, I'm up for you asking a few questions about it. Can I ask you about Riverdale first?
Man, all right, wait on me.
How would you say it's changed over that time?
Oh, since I first came 22 years, well, there's less green space. Houses are expensive.
Yeah. Like 5 times as much or what?
Well, let's see. I got into my place for $60 for the land and built the house for under $200.
Wow.
It's now listing for about $6.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Well, and yes, I think that's a pretty big deal because one of the things I want to ask you is, what does it take really to bring a bard into his own neighborhood and keep him there? Rather than have him travel all around the place. And when I did the sound check with you, you said that I was hoping for a really inspired answer, and you gave me a very basic answer. You said that it would help if there was affordability. And I was kind of looking for something like, oh, I'd love, for there to be more artists, more trees, more. I was looking for a little poetry, but you said affordability. But
Well,
then
my friend Jeff Berner has a song where he opines that artists are the shock troops of gentrification. A song called "That's What Keeps the Rent Down," where he's talking about basically it's artists that move into a neighborhood first, and then people come along and think it's really cute and they'd like to live there, and then eventually the artists get priced out. And here in Edmonton, a lot of artist friends are moving into houses up the hill in Norwood and Macaulay and places like that. And gradually, I suppose, bringing the rents up as funky little businesses come in and stuff like that. But for me personally, I mean, the real poetry of why I'm living in Riverdale is that Pamela lives here.
Pamela,
And she gave me a home with her. So I mean, that's the real thing. But even before I lived in Riverdale. I used to come down here for Canada Day and stuff like that, and I just got a real feeling of community and of like, especially checking out the Riverdalian. We have a neighborhood newspaper, a monthly newspaper that I'm not telling you, I'm telling the audience, but that is, that was really inspiring to me that a neighborhood has a newspaper, and the newspaper even talks about like local fauna and stuff like that, and local flora, and they talk about all kinds of things of interest to the community, and stuff like that for me really makes the difference between just a neighborhood and a community.
Okay. For some reason, I don't know, your sound's breaking up for me. Hopefully it's not, my sound's not breaking up for you, but
you sound fine.
Excellent. And I look fine too.
You look great. And great hat.
In spades.
Back to Murray Bookchin. Can you tell me why you quote him frequently throughout your book? What is your love about?
Okay. I love that you're turning the tables on me here, Rocky.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So I found Murray Bookchin in the course of my reading for Tangle of Souls. And I don't know if I found him through Naomi Klein's "This Changes Everything" or if it was some other way. But when I came across him, I just felt like he was such a breath of fresh air, writing as an environmentalist. And it seemed like back before many people were aware of the seriousness of global warming, for example. But really looking at it from a holistic perspective. Murray Bookchin's school of thought is social ecology, which basically, I mean, there's a lot to that, but the basic idea that our environmental problem is a social problem, and that sort of by hierarchical systems of domination, the kind that we've set up where one group of people can dominate another, whether that's like men dominating women or white people dominating people of color, or a caste system, or rich and poor. Basically, all those sorts of relations are the same sort of relation that we have with the earth, and that's why we're in this grow or die. That's why we're locked into this kind of suicidal logic of grow or die. And
all right.
yeah, for me it was really refreshing to hear like an anarchist critique that aligned with some environmental aims, I guess, and also to read like a sort of refreshing, someone who has a refreshing kind of love of progress and learning and doing things smarter. Where I felt like some environmentalists that I've read really think that humanity that the world would be better off without us, and I don't want to go there. I love people.
I am so with you, and so my last question then, if our social problems, our environmental problems are due to our social problems, this is what I want to get at. How can we improve our society? So for me, it's more artists. They're the creative problem solvers. So other than cheaper rent in Riverdale, what else can we
Boy.
Ooh,
That is a big question. I guess for me, I felt really.
people on the call can help us. I don't know. Speaking of non-hierarchical structures, we don't have to be the experts here. Maybe everybody wants to help us out or something. Could be.
Oh no, Rocky! I'll control who's on this call. No, I do wonder about that. It felt interesting to me coming home, kind of at the beginning of the pandemic. I would say the biggest thing for me was this sort of the feeling that I'm way more dependent on the grid than the ground. The feeling that I rely on the city and I don't know how to get my food and I don't know. And that's not to say that living in the city is bad. Living in the city is a whole bunch of people who can help each other out. And we can help each other out with food security. This summer, we gardened out here. Elliot especially was the master gardener. But last summer, our gardening was done by this group called Veg and Yeg, who are like young people that are just excited and come around, basically use any unused land to bring veggies out of it and sell it on a pay what you can basis to people. But yeah, I mean, as far as this neighborhood, I'm curious to know what you think, really, as far as how can we do this better and in a more sustainable and resilient way. Well,
I mean, I was thinking, I was looking for poetry, and I guess, being able to have food and really affordable housing is have basic needs met is super important, and I shouldn't have expected you to say anything different. But yeah, I think just more, the things that I love to see are, the people that really honor the place. Like there's some simple things that just make me feel this place is so wonderful, like prayer flags wrapped around the trees, or people that put up a park bench and share the common spaces. The folk festival that you put on this summer felt so good. To see the people from the group home dancing their butts off and just going crazy was one of the highlights of my summer. So I don't know. I do think having more artists, more creative people, more. One of the things I really like is the way our community league has sort of direct democracy. Speaking of Murray Bookchin, it's one person, one vote, and we all sort of work together in a non-hierarchical structure. And more music. So take it away, you guys. Let's hear.
Thank you, Rocky. Yeah, I went by the Oval today as well, and I thought that's beautiful there that people just made the skating rink, another skating rink, because people want to play hockey on the other rink. So now here's a rink we can just we could skate leisurely around, And right there by the Oval is the community garden. And right there on the corner of the community garden, there's that post with "May peace prevail on earth" in 4 different languages. And I love that was there as kind of a centerpiece when we put on the Folk and Face Mask Festival this summer as well. It's a beautiful community here. It really is. And you're right. It's a lot of people doing the little things, putting up their little neighborhood libraries where you can take a book. And
yeah. Oh yeah, more sharing economy for sure. I'm getting the feeling you guys haven't practiced enough tunes because you seem to be just gabbing on.
Okay, well, we're going to get a song from Melanie Horsnow all the way in Candelo, New South Wales. Thank you so much.
All you do for the community.
All right.
It's been a real blessing. It's fun to read. I wasn't expecting so much. I don't know why. Maybe I just don't know you well enough, but it's super fly. I love it.
Thank you, Rocky. Love to you.
Bye, Rocky.
Oh, what a legend she is. Yeah. Thank you for introducing me to this community and introducing me to people like her, Pamela.
Thanks for saying yes.
Oh, man. Okay, we're going to go to Candelo, New South Wales, my favorite small Australian town.
With
Here
the
we
sun
are.
Shining.
Oh, look at that. It's daytime in Candelo. Amazing. Incredible. I'm going to unmute your mic here. Oh, can't unmute your guest. Their mic isn't connected, it says. Melanie's she's an old hand at the streaming shows, so I'm sure she'll sort that out right away. Can't unmute your guest. Their mic isn't connected. That's what it says. So Melanie is a singer-songwriter from Candelo, which is that kind of community, really, the kind of community we're talking about. A ton of artists live there. Our friends David Ross McDonald lives there, and Melanie's bandmates in a band called the New Graces, which is just incredible. Also, all live there in Candelo. I still can't unmute your mic, Melanie. I'm not sure what that's all about. It says your mic isn't connected.
Woo!
Oh, there you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. It's
got
so.
You can't see this, but I've got an Aussie Christmas shirt on that was my grandfather's.
Oh wow. Okay. Wow.
The classic car at the beach at Christmas. Yeah. That's the
Car at the
difference
beach.
in
Yeah.
price.
Ready? There it is.
Aussie Christmas, yeah, it's very different. Hey, I had my first Aussie Christmas a couple years back, and we did everything. Like we played backyard cricket, and they were. I don't eat animals, but they were frying shrimp, frying prawns on the barbie, and we were doing all that stuff, and being out in the sun, and also to have New Year like. I had New Year at Narrow Creek Folk Festival, just in the height of summer, dancing around with people outside. Last summer, Pamela and I celebrated New Year's in New Zealand at the Fari Flat Folk Fest.
Uh-huh.
Katie's out there.
Such a different vibe. And it's so nice to tune into your house and just see what a beautiful house you live in, for one. And also when we did the sound check the other day, I could hear the birds.
Yeah. Everybody listen for a second. Ready?
Okay.
Nah, they're gonna sleep.
Well, listen. I want to ask a bit about the New Graces before we have a song from you. Tell us about this group and what's happening this year.
So me and Kate Burke and Robin Martin, three mum songwriters and musicians in our town, came together and created a band called the New Graces, and we made it. And it's a country band, and we made an album called Seasons and put it out, at the beginning of the lockdown because it's a good time too. And it's just nominated for 4 golden guitars now.
For our foreign audience, this is like the country Junos, the country Grammys of Australia. It's a huge deal.
Yeah, we have to get flash outfits now.
You know what? I thought actually, when I saw you at Majors Creek Folk Fest, every set you all three of you were like immaculately attired and coordinated. Your dress game is on point. Your sartorial, yes. Pamela taught me a new word today: sartorial elegance.
Sartorial elegance.
Yes, you were really sartorially superlative.
Even with our blundstones and thongs on. Thongs and shoes, not other thongs.
Yeah. Also, for our foreign audience, thongs, the kind, the flip-flops, yeah. So, can we have a song from you, Melanie?
Yeah, sure. I was actually going to do a Christmas one, but then I decided to do this one because it just goes between the two worlds, It's just a song that I learnt on the banjo. So I wrote it on the banjo while waiting for my girls in Girl Guides, because that's a good thing to do while waiting for kids in activities, learn the instrument. And it's called Midnight Mermaid Blue, and it was about the sky as I drove home that night, and I kept saying to the girls, look at the sky, look at the sky. Anyway, they're all in. My little girls are with their grandparents in Sydney, and they're all in lockdown. So this is for the little babies, and for everybody else who just needs a big cuddle. I'm going to take these off actually. Dark night, how do I honor you? Stars so bright, whisper moon. Drove home, the sky lit by jewels. Sea green, variations on a theme. Life, catching treasures of the deep, deep inside of me. Give me a line, I'll go fishing. What's beneath, what's unseen from this perspective? Everything shimmering, sunlight on my skin, shade
It's
to
incredibly hard to
lingering.
We're like almost.
Midnight mermaid blue, shining like a mirror on the earth. Change my point of view. Teach me
Most people
how
start
to
with it. You got
live
the hard
this
one.
lovely life.
Stayed around for 50.
Dark night,
Oh yeah.
how do I honor you? Stars so bright,
Yeah, here.
whisper
I
moon.
played Fairy Flat for Festival the year before. You wonderful folks. Oh, Daniel Bowling. Holy shit.
Slowly
He's from the States. He's in the States.
feeling
So the New Grace is playing at Old Canberra Inn yesterday.
me.
It's a nice surprise seeing
Sky
him.
still,
That's
weather
okay.
calm, everything in your arms. Midnight mermaid blue,
Hey, Rob.
shining like a mirror on the earth. Change my point of view. Teach me how to live this lovely life. Midnight mermaid blue, shining like a mirror on the earth. Change my point of view. Teach me how to live this lovely life. Orion and the sea, listen to the waves crash in my dreams. Everywhere I go, learning how to live this lovely
Woo! Great stuff, Melanie. Wow. Oh, man. Okay, so I'm going to put up this, melaniehorsnell.com. That's where people can find you and your music. There is a ton of people saying, Scott, I can hear you talking in the background. Mute your mic. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm still learning, still getting the hang of this thing. Melanie and I will be doing a show together. When's that, Melanie?
5th of January.
5th of January. That's a Tuesday, is it?
So it's 4th of January for you, is it?
Yeah, okay. And 5th of January for you, yeah. It'll be on my website, on scottcook.net. I imagine it's on melaniehorsnell.com. And we're gonna swap songs. It's called Date Night. She's been doing a series like that. Here's a friend in Canberra says she saw you playing at the Old Canberra Inn yesterday.
Yeah, it was fun.
Ah, so good. How do you find the New Graces? Are you on thenewgraces.com?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And
Thank you.
we're on all the socials, blah, blah.
Of course. Of course. Yeah, I got to say, New Graces were like really one of my favorite. You're one of my favorite bands in the world, and last tour in Australia, you were hands down my favorite new discovery. I was so thrilled by all that. It's just amazing, amazing stuff. 3 really powerful writers and musicians all together. So it's a beautiful thing.
Cool. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Happy
Merry
holiday.
Christmas
Happy
to you
holiday.
too.
Thank
Yeah. Enjoy.
Tuning in January.
Yeah.
See you then.
See you.
Okay. See ya. All right. Wow. Can you believe that? Me and my mic. Okay. every one of these shows has been like. There's always been some technological hurdle to overcome. Humbling. Yeah. Humbling.
Just keep you down a notch, or 5 or 10, or.
It's keeping me in my place.
I hope that didn't interrupt people's listening experience. It's
Yeah.
a really beautiful song.
Yeah, tune in on January 5th as well if you want more. That's going to be great. You can go to Melanie's page. Melanie's go to her website or go to her Facebook, and you can find out all about that. We got one more guest for you today. It's really hard not to talk for a long time to each of these people because I love each of them. But we got one more guest, and I'm super excited to get him on here. If we're running over time and you got to go to something else, we totally understand. At this point, if you feel like tipping the musicians and grabbing some merch, you can go over to scottcook.net/store, and that's where you can find our merch, including the new album Tangle of Souls, even some T-shirts. Whoa, we got a few T-shirts left in funny sizes. And there's also a tip jar there, and I'm just going to spread that around among the musicians who have been on the call today. But our next guest, I heard from a friend on Facebook when I posted that we had a guest who was hibernating in Hamilton, and I wasn't going to announce who it was. And she's watching over in Scotland, in Fife, and she said, "Is your secret guest who I think it is?" And I was like, "Don't say," but yes, it's him. That guy, old Ramo.
Oh my God,
old Ramo. CorinRaymond.com. That guy.
Oh man.
Friends, I'm so excited to welcome Corin to our show. I've been thinking about this since like before I, from the very beginning when I started doing these online shows, I thought, man, it'd be great to get Corin on one of these. He's not the most technophile of a guy. He's more of a bibliophile and a cinemaphile, but he's crossed that Rubicon, and he's here.
With you, man. This is the first live stream show that I've seen.
All the things that can go
That's
wrong.
impressive.
That's right.
So like I'm leaping boldly into 2003 with you, and I so appreciate it. Thanks for bringing me into the early aughts,
Oh, buddy, thanks for joining us. So if for those viewers who don't know Corin Raymond, he's one of my hugest inspirations. We crossed paths back in 2007, I believe, at the Eaglewood Folk Festival in Ontario. And he's taught me a lot about songwriting. He's taught me a lot about performing. And we've had the opportunity to tour together, including a tour down in Australia. And I hope we get to do it again. But during this pandemic, he has been sheltered at home in Hamilton. What's been going on, man?
Oh man, I've just been walking every day and writing every day, and I've just been living in this bohemian castle here, and I'm alone here in this 3-story dirty mansion. I also have great neighbors. I love hearing you talk about your neighbors. My neighbors save me all the time. We got a great little wagon circle at this end of the street. But I've just been, this year has been a tough one. I mean, I don't really, that's kind of superfluous information for those folks out there. But for me personally, it's really just been a year about surviving, you know. Um, and I think the best thing for me this year is just how much time I've had to work. And so, you know, I have 11 new songs. I'll have a few more shortly. I'm working on new stories. I'm working on a sequel to my show Bookworm. And I'm going for a 3-hour walk every morning. And I've been getting up at the same time every day and falling asleep at midnight, you know. I've never had a chance in my life before to regulate my sleep. I haven't had regular sleep probably since I was a child. So, you know, it's a mixed bag, man. There's a lot of beauty every day and there's lots of good things. And it's also been a hard time, you know? So that's it. I'm here.
Wow. You mentioned that you're working on a sequel to Bookworm. For those of our viewers who don't know it, it's a one-man play about Corin growing up with his dad in a library in his house, and about his love of books. A lot about Ray Bradbury, a lot about Spider-Man. It's an incredible piece of work. I've seen it 3 times and I cried every time. But what's the sequel all about?
Well, as you were saying, like the first show, Bookworm, is, you know, it's the story of me, my childhood, and me growing up alone with my dad, single father, and an only child. And it's about the books that he read to me every night as a kid, and how those reading sessions really are largely responsible for creating me. But it kind of ends at the end of my adolescence, or it sort of ends in my mid-teenhood. And the sequel to Bookworm that I'm working on is situated now in my adult life, and it's about, you know, what books mean now. And the pandemic is certainly going to figure in this show. And you know, I lost 2 mothers when I was a kid, and this year, more than any other year, you know, I've been haunted by those losses in a way that has made life really difficult to navigate. And I mean, when I was on the road with you in Australia in 2018, which was such a fantastic experience, but you know, I was living a lot. I was reliving those losses a lot, even on that trip. And you know, this year has given me an opportunity to feel that in a way I never have. And it's kind of made me realize how my relationship with books themselves, you know, is wrapped up in those losses. And so that sounds lofty and maybe a little incomprehensible to just sort of, this is not a good elevator pitch, you know. I swear to God, it's going to be riveting and entertaining and compelling when I get it all together. But basically looking at books from the point of view of someone who now lives in the digital age, you know, looking at books from the point of view of a 48-year-old me, a very different point of view, you know. So Bookworm is... you know, Bookworm's an origin story, to reference, you know, you mentioned Spider-Man. Bookworm's an origin story. So these are the further adventures, you know, this is where the story ends up. I don't know. I'm chipping away at it. I'm generating stories and material. I've got a long way to go, but I definitely have my teeth into something. So, yeah.
Wow, that's great, man. I'm excited to hear it. Well, I guess we should go to a song, brother. Are you gonna give us one of your new ones?
Well, not only a new one. I want to give you a song that's so new. I'm gonna try to sing it for you folks out there, without reading the words. You know, I may have to lean on them a little bit, but this song was finished on Tuesday. I started it in 2015, and I've been working on it for the past 2.5 months, almost every day. So I just got it to the finish line on Tuesday. So this song is brand new. Nobody's heard it except you, and I'm going to be kind of hearing it with you for the first time here. It's called The First 100 Years Are the Hardest. I said, hey, Doc, Thanks for fitting me in. It's been a while. It's good to see you. He said, Corin, how you been? Are you sleeping? How you keeping? Is everything okay? You've definitely looked better. What brings you in today? I said, well, Doc, I've been here before. I've come to a wall. I can't find the door. Is there something I can take? Is there nothing I can do? Will I always be afraid? Will I ever make it through? And he said, Corin, I'm going to tell you something I learned in pre-med. Looked over his bifocals and said, the first 100 years are the hardest. After that, it's all a downhill ride. But the first 100 are a mountainside. Now, Corin isn't half as bad as how it makes you feel. Kicker is, in spite of that, the feeling's just as real. I'm prescribing you 4 chords, title for a song, and a medium ballpoint Bic, as blue as you feel wrong. And when next at night you wake in fright, don't reach for your phone. Pick up your guitar instead and hum this little poem. It says the first 100 years are the hardest. After that, it's just a green light glide. It's the first 100 that's the bumpy ride. Now, Doc, I've been so overwhelmed, I don't know where to start. But it's good to hear I'm nearly halfway through the hardest part. Does this mean it just gets lonelier the older that we get? He opened my folder on his desk and he looked at me and said, Corin, I hate to tell you, there's nothing really wrong. You're out of fun, you come undone, you've been running way too long. Of course you're gonna crumble, you're gonna come unglued. That's why I recommend this song on which the pen is still unchewed. Oh, and here's a little something might help you fly a little straighter. Corin, if it doesn't kill you, it'll only kill you later. The first 100 years are the hardest. Yeah, and then it's all a cloud-free day. It's only the 100 getting in your way. Doc, this song idea, don't get me wrong, it's nice. But I'm finding it hard to be alive, and I could sure use your advice. So he looks at me over his bifocals again, a little longer this time. And he says, Corin, you're a dreamer, but not every dream is sweet. First, let's decide to just never ride on the suicide of the street. Corin, you don't belong to you. You belong to all the world. But the world is whack, and you can't subtract the swine from every pearl. So you lean on those who love you, like you'd let them lean on you. And you call me when this song is done, and we'll sing the whole thing through. Oh, and Corin, last time we tested you for the bedrock bottom blues. The results are back. Got them here. Looks like it's good news. The first 100 years are the hardest. Yeah, and that could mean, I know it goes, so don't despair when you feel stuck. Up shit creek without a you-know-what. Now, when you don't know whether you're pistol whipped, powder burned, or blind, and when all your get-up is gone and you want to quit while you're behind, Corin, you just have to do it. Why? Because you must. If not for you, well, heck then, you do it just for us. Your significance you might never know, but you got work to do. It's a hard old, long old, lonesome go when you're a buckaroo. The first 100 years are the hardest. The first 100 years are the hardest. Yeah, and that could mean 100 years of rain. So get out of bed and get outside your brain. Now, Corin, your next appointment is written on this card. If in the meantime life gets mean, don't take it quite so hard. Your dead friends are still with you. Your living friends are too. But they got their own forgiving, loving, and suffering to do. So take your vitamins D and G and and then go to the A. Add your B minor supplement. It's gonna be okay. The first 100 years are the hardest. Yeah, so hang in there and hold on tight. 'Cause after 100 it'll be alright. After 100 it'll be alright. Thanks, Doc. See you in 2 weeks.
Yeah! Oh, man. Yes. Yes. Oh, brother, I'm so stoked that you decided to make your internet debut with
Well,
us.
man, it hasn't quite yet been played entirely smoothly all the way through, but so that's even better. Because, yeah, this is the first time anyone's heard that song.
That song is medicine, man. That song is so good.
Well, man, I got to tell you this, because I finished, like, my therapist, who I see on Zoom every week, was away for a week, and you know, I really missed her, and I've been working on this song like intensively since October, and the doctor was only really introduced in October. He sort of just showed up. And then when my therapist was away, I was kind of I was on the home stretch, you know. And then she comes back, and I played her like what most of the song, you know. And I said, "Hey, you know, you went away, and like I made up a guy, you know." and then I finished the song on Tuesday, just before our appointment, literally 5 minutes before our appointment. I thought, okay, I think it's done. And then I'm talking as soon as I went on the Zoom call with her. You know, I said, hey, I finished that song, you know, and I played it for her. And then we had our session, and then at the end of the session, I was talking about some things that were, you know, particularly troubling for me these days. And I just said, you know, I don't know what to do. And she says, in all seriousness, a professional therapist says to me, she says, Corin, you know, I think you need to ask the doc. She's like, you know, I think you need to ask the doc, see what he has to say. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, I just played this song, and it's like, this is my first review of the song, is that my real life therapist, who I'm paying, is telling me to consult my metaphysical, imaginary, poetic doctor pal that I made up. You know, anyway, so that was a good sign. Anyway.
One wise doctor there. So good.
Oh, man. Hey,
Yeah.
Rocky says this song rocks. Thanks, Rocky.
Oh, and she ex-doctor too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We've been hearing from lots of people on here, Corin. Yeah, I heard from Elise. This is
Elise fan now.
look there's Wayne Hodgson.
Oh, Wayne.
Here's Laura Lee, our friend Laura Lee from just down the block, says somehow this is the first time I heard him.
Not the last.
Oh.
I feel like that often.
Marilyn Dudinsky from Edson says, what a song. There's our friend Ginny McPherson from Fort St. James.
Oh, that's
Man.
the brass
Yeah.
ring.
There's CJ.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, CJ.
Shez from Queensland.
Wow.
Queensland, I mean. Oh, man. Yeah, wow. There's Alan Hughes from Crawford Bay. Yeah,
Man.
buddy.
Well,
Corin, new big fans here. Thank you so much for that beautiful, honest song, and thank you everyone for this lovely night as always. This is our friend Dennis from Sault Ste. Marie.
Oh, cool.
There's Jackie B.
Oh, no way.
There's Haley Myra.
Oh, my God. That's a smart dog.
Even out the last.
Oh, thank you, Charla. Wow.
Oh, my God.
Lots of love coming.
I love you,
man.
too, Jackie B.
So folks can go to CorinRaymond.com if they want to find your stuff. Also, I want to show this because this is official news now. This is happening February 2nd.
February 2nd. Wow.
Me and Corin and Jonathan Bird are all going to be getting together, swapping stories and songs. Is it true? Are you going to go all new stuff?
Yeah, I'm gonna go all new stuff. I've got don't worry, it'll work out. But yeah, I think I am gonna play all new songs, and I've also started a Patreon, which has changed my whole existence, and I'm using that to share not just new songs, um, but also songs as they're being written. Like this one, "The First 100 Years Are the Hardest." I was sort of sharing it in serial form, as I was working on it and talking a bit about my way of thinking about it, my process, and I'm having a lot of fun with Patreon, and it's kind of my new home on the range. I don't know, folks out there who know the Cameron House know that it's the Red Velvet Twilight, and my Patreon is the Red Velvet Twilight Zone, and I'm loving it. So you can look me up there too.
I'm loving it too, man. You're the first. Yours is the first. Corin Raymond is creating a lifelong celebration of his sorrows. Is the first Patreon I've signed up for, and I don't mean to patronize you, but I'm in, man. I'm in. I'm patronizing
you. Need to be patronized.
It's so good. So yeah, folks, if you want to look up his Patreon, you can probably get there via CorinRaymond.com or just go into Patreon and type in CorinRaymond.com. And this one here is, February 2nd. That's through Home Roots. Go to homeroots.ca, and you can buy tickets for that. And that show will be happening on Zoom, so we're all kind of in the same room together. We can see you as well as you seeing us. Man, thank you so much for joining us on this, brother.
Hey, thank you. It was so beautiful to see Dave and Melanie and your friend Rocky. But it was especially great to be able to go to New South Wales there and go to Dave's place. I didn't even know about his children's stuff. That was just wild. So anyway, thanks for having me be part of your little hang, man.
Yeah, brother. Yeah. Okay. Adios. We'll be in touch soon. Oh, thank you so much for listening, everybody. I think we've gone about a full half hour over the time we expected, but that's all right with us as long as it's all right with you. We're going to play you one more song and put this thing to bed. I should say a couple things. The next show is going to be, the next monthly show will be January 23rd, and Justin Farron is going to be on the show. He's one of my favorite songwriters in the whole world. He just released my favorite album of 2020. And also Jonathan Bird is going to be on the show. Mr. Jonathan Bird will be on to sing one song. And of course, you can see me and Corin and Jonathan Bird February 2nd on Home Roots. Homeroots.ca. That's where you go to get tickets for that. And and the other thing I want to tell you is that Jupiter and Saturn are really close together, closest they've been in like 600 years or something. Go out at sunset. We're going to take a walk out tonight and look to the southwest. I don't know how it works for everybody around the world, but look it up. Look it up on spaceweather.com. They'll tell you all about that. I hope you'll have a wonderful solstice or Hanukkah or Festivus or Christmas or whatever is your thing. Have a beautiful thing. Thank you so much, Indoorables.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Rob.
Scott.
Thanks so much for
Pleasure as
doing
always.
what you're doing.
I get to live with these people. Aren't they the best? All right, we'll take you out with this one. I've been looking all over for the heart of this land. It's all the same from the highway, paranoid and bland. But I found a string of outposts, dug in deep behind the lines. It's getting harder to hold hope, but that's where I'm keeping mine. And it's scary breaking cover. It's heartbreaking ground. And it's the nail that sticks up that gets knocked down. Oh, and every bit of brilliance in all that you do, they'll find a way to twist it and try to sell it back to you. Considering your options, you could play it smart, or you could let love have its way with your heart. You might think that it's hopeless before you even start. Let love have its way with your heart. See, I'm just like the system, stubborn and scared of change. In the throes of addiction, turning hungry-eyed and strange. And the more I see it in myself, the more I kick and shout, like we hate the infidel, 'cause he shows us our own doubt. And you can point fingers, deny any part, or you can let love have its way with your heart. You might think that it's hopeless before you even start. Let love have its way with your heart. Oh, let love have its way with your heart. Love's talking through the mothers and singing through the earth. When we've dug the last dollar, we'll see what it's worth. And this is coming down hard, friends, not if but when. And just as cruel as we are now, we could be crueler then. And you can shore up the walls that keep the world apart, or you can let love have its way with your heart. You might think that it's hopeless before you even start. Let love have its way with your heart. Oh, let love have its way with your heart. Elliot Thomas, Pamela May, thank you so much, y'all. Oh, thank you, Penny.
Thanks for making it all happen, Scott.
Thanks for tuning in, Tyler. Whoa, happy birthday, Yvonne. Happy birthday, Yufang. 祝你生日快乐，祝你生日快乐。I was expecting everyone to join in. Happy birthday, dear Yvonne. Happy birthday to you. Thanks so much, everybody. Love you lots. Take good care. Aww. All right. Hope to see you January 23rd.